So before we jump into ARCS, can you share a little bit about your work as a curriculum developer and as a writer and how those two worlds shape the way you think about teaching writing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I started off as a curriculum developer like 20 years ago. Wow, I can't believe it. Designing curriculum for my own classroom at a community college, and then came over to the university where we work. And that's where I really started to learn more about asynchronous learning and how we design centralized curriculum, which is really strange. I'd never done that before. So that was a learning process. But one thing I did learn was how to effectively design assignments that teach students how to write. And that's where I learned so many different ways, so many models to follow. The ARC model was one that we tried to utilize as much as possible because, as you know, with asynchronous learning, students drop off. They just get bored and they don't invest in the assignment. And then I got to go teach in my own classroom at a local middle school. That was so much fun, but I was teaching writing and language arts, and so I tried to take what I was learning at the university where we work and implement it into my own classroom for middle school kids, and that didn't work too well.
That's tough.
Mostly because it's in person, it's synchronous learning and totally different environment. And I found that being a writer myself helped because they started to invest in my assignments when I would tell them, I'm doing this myself. I'm writing something myself. I'm having to do an outline and a rough draft, brainstorm everything. And that made them realize, oh, okay, I might be actually able to use these skills later on in life. So then I decided after my first year teaching to go back and revamp everything and redesign my curriculum. And the ARC model was so effective. It really was wonderful. When I left my classroom in 2016 and came back here to the university working with you, I thought maybe we should restructure some of our writing assignments following that model. Again, we kind of got away from it and then we returned back to it. So, yeah, I can't stress enough how effective this model is when you want to teach writing at the college level or, in your in-person classroom to middle school. It's so helpful.
It makes a difference. Absolutely. So, for the listeners that may be new to this model, ARCS, which stands for Attention, Relevance, Confidence, and Satisfaction, how would you explain it in plain language? And why is it especially helpful for writing instruction?
The best way is to explain it where you want to get the student's attention right away. And you can do that with a hook or a funny story or tell them, hey, I'm working on an assignment just like this. And that gets their attention right away. And then you want to explain how the assignment is going to be relevant to them. They are going to use this type of assignment in their future academic careers or even in their career field. Once you do that, when they ask, why am I doing this assignment? And they can answer that, oh, because I'm going to need this skill in the future. Now they're invested. And then you want to teach it in a way that they can answer the question, am I going to even be able to finish this assignment? You want to be able to give them that confidence, and that's the C. You want them to feel like, yeah, I can do this assignment. And that builds their confidence, and they now are even more invested in the assignment. And then finally, when they turn it in, they get that feedback, that quality feedback from the instructor, and they feel they can answer the question, yes, I succeeded. I successfully completed this assignment. And it leaves them with that satisfaction of, I might be able to do this going forward. And that's kind of how I broke it up into my classroom too.
Love that, being able to break it all down. And that's what's great about models like this is it gives you that framework and that structure that you can utilize in all of your classes and in your assignments. So it's great.
hmm